Hey there, thank you for checking in. We're talking about investment in properties today. Buying an investment property can be one of the biggest, most life-changing decisions for you, for your family, for generations to come. It is one of the best tools that you could use to build wealth, to build financial freedom, to build equity, to pay for college, to pay for retirement. It is probably the best thing you could do with your money outside of going back in time and investing in Google. So here we go. We're going to take a look at what's on the market right now in the Bronx and Westchester County. We're going to look at pricing, rental rates, purchasing, buy, rent, rehab, refinance strategies. Stick around, got a lot of information. I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so first, let's just jump right in. Let's take a look at just the prices and stuff that's on the market. I'm going to talk about the Bronx, New Rochelle, and Yonkers. Those are the largest three areas in the area that I cover that we're focusing on today, the Bronx and Westchester County. So we're going to just jump right in here. I'll make this a little bit bigger for you guys. What's on the market in the Bronx today? So these are active listings. As you see, there's 323 multifamily properties. So these are homes that are 2 to 4 units. Whether you're looking at living in a unit and renting one out, or buying one just as a whole investment as a whole, you're going to be renting out both units. This is what you could expect to look at when you're on the market today. Buildings that are 5 plus, that's commercial real estate. That's a little bit different. They're priced a little bit different. They're managed a little bit different. So that's a different topic. So if you're looking, this is 2 to 4 family homes on the market right now, Bronx and Westchester County. As you're going to see in the Bronx, the median rate is $148,000. That's the median price point for a home in the Bronx, multifamily property in the Bronx right now. I see a lot of between here, 700 up to, almost $1 million. There's a lot. That's where the majority of the listings are. And I'm going to go into why the prices are what they are. A lot of people, just can't fathom the prices are going on right now. But when you look at the whole picture, you're going to see this is worth investing this amount of money into these types of assets. Pending homes, that these are homes that are in contract. Again, 328 homes are in contract right now. They haven't closed. That means you're still looking at them on Zillow. They're still popping up. It says there's this many homes. More homes are in contract right now than are available on the market. This is today. Actually, I pulled these last night, so these are yesterday's numbers. But all of these homes you may see again on a website, and they're not actually available because they're pending. That means they're in contract. You can't make an offer. You can't buy them. And again, the average price of a house that's in contract is $799,000. So again, you're always going to see homes in contract, homes a little bit, the average price of a home in contract a little bit less than the average price of a house that's available. And that's not because that the homes are available or overpriced. Again, there's just more demand for homes under an average price than there is above an average price. So more homes get sold faster. If you're looking in the bottom 50% of the price point, it's going to be across all real estate, across all categories. Again, we sell more Hondas than we do BMWs. It's not that BMWs aren't worth it. It's that just that more people want to buy the Honda. Okay. And then for homes sold in the last 6 months, 452 homes sold in the last 6 months. So 452 homes sold, 328 in contract. That's, over 780 homes that were traded or are going to be traded in real estate within a 6-month period. That's a huge amount of homes. This is just the Bronx. Median price of a sold home, $785,000. Okay. And then this number kind of accurately reflects towards this one. Even though a home is listed for $850, sometimes it sells for $835, $825. That happens a lot. So the whole sold to pending price ratio, that's it's an accurate deduction. Just giving you a good look. You have a big sample size here. So, and again, you'll see 700,000 to 900,000. That's a lot of homes. The majority of the homes that were traded were between $700,000 and $900,000. When you look at these homes that are multifamily properties in the Bronx that are 350 to under 600, these are distressed properties. They have either safety issues, they have tenant issues, they may have been occupied, they may have violations. There's a whole big different section of real estate that's not an arm's length trade. These are not arm's length trades. What we mean by that is that they're not sold at fair market value. They're not sold at fair market value because there was some underlying condition with the property that makes it, not mortgageable, not available to everybody that's in the market. Okay, these homes were likely bought for cash. They were likely bought at a discount, and they were likely sold with either tax liabilities, legal liabilities, maintenance safety liabilities that were put on by the city. And like I said, so they were not an arm's length deal. These are the arm's length deals here. The 650 to 950, where all of these homes are getting sold at. Those are the arm's length deals, price point wise in the Bronx. And then we're gonna just take a look into New Rochelle. What's going on in New Rochelle, Westchester County? Different story. Active listings. You have a couple. There's not a lot going on over here, but there's a few active listings that are under 600, and then you have just a few homes that are available in the market, the median market price point. The difference between Westchester and Bronx multifamily housing, when you're looking at 2 and 3 family homes, obviously the Bronx was, a lot of the real estate was built with the intention to house multifamily. Westchester County, you have these larger colonial homes that were built as single family houses that, the land got rezoned as the neighborhood needs changed, and they're kind of like chopped up a little bit. They're not near transit. They don't have the bus system or the train system that is in New York City. Also, property taxes are much higher in Westchester County. The taxes on a $700,000 or $800,000 house in the Bronx could be like $5,000 or $6,000, whereas they could be $16,000 to $17,000 in New Rochelle, Yonkers, or even more into other parts of Westchester. So that brings the price down a little bit. Okay, and they don't trade as often, and in much more residential areas. So you see, like in New Rochelle, is the majority of houses owned by single family homeowners, not rent multifamily. So just the market's a little bit weaker. You have a median price point about $575, and again, also a lot of these homes in Westchester County multifamily that are trading, that are on the market, are they need a lot of renovation. They're just older homes that haven't got fixed up in a while. So pending homes that are in contract, a little bit of the same, but you do have 12 homes in contract and 7 on the market right now. So again, almost double the homes that have been on the market in the last few months have sold than ones that didn't sold. So the market is still showing strong over there. And sold homes, again, you have a big chunk of activity here between 650 and 750. That seems to be the sweet spot for a good solid purchase in New Rochelle. And then again, you see it right here, reflected in the median price point, 714. That's the average. That's where most of the demand and the price is going to be. Okay, I'm going to swing over to Yonkers. Yonkers is a bigger city. They have some more, traditionally designated when they were built multifamily housing. So it's also the 4th largest city in New York State. Okay, it's over 200,000 people. It's a decent sized market. They have a little bit more transit than they do in New Rochelle or other areas of Westchester County. So you're going to see some more action. It's just more apt to have renters and tenants in Yonkers. And the price point's a little bit higher. Median active listing over here is 650,000. Okay, so you can see that chunk of activity going on there. Homes in contract, 70 homes in contract to 45 that are available. Strong market, okay? More listings getting sold, more listings going into contract that are available. Still high demand. You still have to come with a strong offer. And then again, you'll see you have this large chunk of activity between like 6 and 800,000 and homes that are in contract. 113 sold homes in 6 months. 113 homes sold in the last 6 months. 45 homes currently available on the market. And this data is according to HGAR, the Hudson Gateway Association of Realtors, the dominant and MLS multiple listing service that's in Westchester County. So that's give you a good idea of the numbers, just what's going on over there. So now let's think about it. You made the choice. You know why you want to buy an investment property. You are focused on saving for the future, for college, for your kids, for retirement, just for yourself, just to have an asset for yourself. Maybe you got a bunch of money and some great bonuses. You're sitting on some cash. Maybe you want to use this as a tool that's going to help you get the primary house that you want. You see a lot of people, you can look at all these millionaire mentor blogs and chats, and they say, buy the multifamily before you buy your single family home. Buying the multifamily house, the property is a good way where you can turn your down payment into 4 or 5 fold in a few years. There's not many investments that are going to quadruple or triple in 4 years. I mean, some of them might. You may be able to play the stock market, but real estate is a tried and true way to get that done when it's done right. So what are we looking at again? In the Bronx, you're looking at the median price for a home. This is the average multifamily property in the Bronx right now. You're looking at something that's 2 rental units. That's about 2,264 square feet and a price point of around $848,000 across 2 to 4 family homes. Investing in Yonkers, you're looking at something that's going to be 2 units. It's about 2,000 square feet. You can get away with a median price around $650,000. And then in New Rochelle, you're looking at a multifamily housing. The average multifamily home is 2 units. It's about 1,916 square feet. And you can get around with a median price point of about $575,000. Why is this reversal of from single family home prices? Okay, single family homes in Westchester County are priced a lot higher than single family homes in the Bronx. Why are the multifamily homes in the Bronx, New York City, so high? Okay, one is higher rental occupancy rates. Okay, the subway, the bus system, the amount of jobs, the physical distance to and from like the major business centers in Manhattan, South Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, and that leads to higher rental occupancy. You're probably there are tons of people always looking for rentals in New York City. Your vacancy rate is very low. The vacancy rate in Westchester is a little bit higher. If you buy a 2-family house, it may take you a few weeks to get a really good renter for that unit. I've listed homes for rent in the Bronx and Westchester County, and when you put an apartment up in the Bronx, you just go, your mailbox just goes crazy. So many people are looking to rent a place in the Bronx. In Westchester, it's a little fewer and further between. Again, you probably need a car, you need a parking space, you are likely moving out of the city, and you want to get something better than what you can get in the city, so you have to look around a little bit more. And then if you're not tied to like a train, okay, I mean, some people, they move just based on where their transit is. In New York City, you don't have that situation in Westchester because it's so spread out, and you likely have a little bit more, the renter might likely has a little bit more freedom to move here or there. So for that reason, they tend to be vacant a little bit longer in Westchester County than when they do in the city. The other thing is the taxes, and like I said, I can't stress how important this is. Taxes on multifamily homes, it could be a $10,000 to $11,000 a year difference in cost or more for the same property. So it's going to cost you more to own that property in Westchester County versus New York City. For that reason, the value of the asset in New York City is higher than it is in Westchester, and this is on an income based approach to the owner. Like I said, I'm going to get X amount more dollars in cash flow because I'm not paying taxes in New York City versus what I would be paying for that same cash flow in Westchester County. So let's, like I said, why are these homes 7 to 900,000, almost $1 million? Well, you know, just like like yesterday I talked about separating inflation from appreciation, the value of the dollar, the consumer price index versus the home affordability index. When you're looking at the value of a multifamily home, you're not buying a house for $800,000 if you're going to live there. I mean, you are, like, on paper, you are buying a house for this much money. But the investor, the commercial, like the market, what they see it as is, okay, I'm putting up some money, I'm going to get so much money in return. Okay, I'm going to pay $4,000 a month to own this property. All right, like out of mortgage, taxes, insurance, this and that, and I'm going to get $6,000 a month in rental income. So you're buying $2,000 a month plus the value of the asset in the future when you sell it. So this is the like the decision that you need to make when you're looking at buying multifamily property as an investment or as an owner who's going to rent out the unit downstairs. Again, like, your first goal should be your first target when deciding on which property that you want to buy should really be how much cash flow do I need per month? Okay. Am I okay buying an investment that's going to give me $1,000 a month? Okay. Am I okay buying an investment that's going to give me $2,000 a month? Am I okay buying an investment where I'm not going to make positive cash flow or little to no cash flow, right? Because you could buy, a smart decision sometimes is buying an asset where you're going to get back $500 a month, but your return in the, if you have a 5-year plan, if you have think about it this way, if you have a 10-year-old kid right now, and that 10-year-old is going to go to college in 8 years, I have $100,000 saved up. I could take another 8 years and save $100,000. All right, and then I'll have $200,000 when that child is 18 years old to give him to go to college, and that's great. But if I have $100,000, I buy it into investment in real estate. 8 years goes by, price appreciation, rental income, resale value, my return is going to be $400,000 to $500,000 in 8 years on that property. Now, I wasn't really maybe getting that property. I'm not concerned with the monthly cash flow, right? So it's like I'll take $500 a month if I expect to make $400,000 or $500,000 on the resale or refinance 8 years from now, and that's what I'm going to use to fund my child's college tuition. Okay. Or am I planning on building a larger portfolio and I need monthly, as much positive cash flow monthly as I possibly can? From what I want to put in, I have some extra money, but I need to increase my monthly income as much as possible. I want something that's going to get me $2,000 a month. Now, that property that's going to get you more monthly 6, 7, 8 years from now, when if it's the decision is what I'm going to get in return versus what I'm going to be able to get 8 years from now, maybe the property that gives monthly doesn't have the same return target as the previous home. So what am I going to do? Like, do I want to take that do I want that money monthly cash flow wise, or do I want future value? Okay, so you could buy two separate properties. Probably the one that's going to get you the higher cash flow monthly is one that is renovated, that is at a higher price point, that's on the market. Maybe all the work is done. You don't have to do a lot of work, but you just go in, you pick up this property, it's vacant, it's ready to get you, maximum market value for rental income. Maybe the property that you're going to get a much larger return on down the road is one that maybe needs renovation. Maybe it has renters in it right now that are not paying market value, but over the course of 8 years, you can take the steps to rehab the property, to raise the rents, and then refinance and sell when the market is going to be much higher. Take a look at what was going on in like the South Bronx 4, 5, 6 years ago, Mott Haven areas and things like that. These were, I'm going to say, distressed neighborhoods. Okay. Forget about whatever property types was. The neighborhood may have been in distress, high rates of poverty, but there was a lot of commercial investment coming. There's a lot of people that saw great opportunities, that had the means to buy multifamily houses at $400,000, and they're selling them, 3 to 4 years later for $800,000. Those properties were not cash flow positive, 2016, 2017, 2018. Maybe you got some renters in 2019, and 2020 and 2021, you're taking a big return from there. So, and again, every decision, there's not like a one best decision for everybody. This is something that you have to analyze your specific situation. You have to think about, okay, I was like, what is my tolerance monthly for cost? Okay, like how much can I come out of pocket for this? What's the risk for that cost? Okay, so if cash flow doesn't happen, if something happens to my tenant, if I'm not able to get the property, if a flood happens, can I still pay the mortgage? Can I still can I afford to rehab the property? Can I afford to make repairs to the roof, to the foundation, to the to the plumbing, the electrical? Can I make upgrades? All of those things are very specific to you. So if you can do those things and you could do them easily, you could make a lot of money buying a distressed property for a few years, and then getting a big return on it down the road when you're able to bring it up. If that's not your strong point, buying something that is at a higher price point, that is going to, the appreciation is not going to be the same. It'll still go up, but not as much as, you buying a kind of distressed property, right? It's gonna hold value, but it's new, it's solid, it's not gonna take a lot of work. Maybe it's closer to your house. You could still make that investment. You're gonna get a return. You're gonna get a good return. You're not gonna get the return that you got from like flipping and totally rehabbing the property, but you're also not gonna have the headache. So there's a lot of questions to be answered that are specific to you and your situation, and what is going to be the best avenue for you to invest and build your real estate empire, build your wealth, key to financial freedom. Okay. And that is always our goal. That's the number one goal: equity growth, building wealth for the future, for yourself, for your family, for generations to come, and gaining financial freedom throughout the way. Okay. Please, if you haven't already, take a second, hit the like button. Please subscribe. I will do these often and keep bringing you very, very informative, important information about your real estate. And follow me on Instagram if you haven't. And you can always reach me at my website. My contact link is in the description. You can contact me and search homes through there. Okay. Why are the prices so high? Okay. There's high competition for homes still. Investment properties have the same issue that single family homes have. You have owners who are holding on to properties that are underutilizing them because they don't know where or how to trade them. They have homes that families have owned that may have been passed down, that somebody is sitting on. And again, like, they don't want to let them go because they don't know how to buy the next one. Just because somebody owns a multifamily house doesn't make them super knowledgeable in real estate. They made a good decision, but if they've not kept up with the market and trends and laws, over the past few years, then they're likely underutilizing their property, and they're just not going to sell it. It's easy for them to keep it as is than, even if, then take the money and do something more with it. They're just going to hold on to it. So high competition, low inventory. All right. Also, those homes, they're just solid investments and great hedges against inflation. Okay. The value of a payment of a mortgage payment that you have today, 5-10 years from now, is going to be worth a lot of money. All right. Inflation is going to happen. Price appreciation is going to happen. And there's only more and more people coming that are going to need more and more places to live. So it's a solid investment. It's a hedge against inflation. And, New York specifically, like New York City, Lower Westchester County, while there's a lot of people grunting about, the prospective regulation on rental rates rising, but, there's a counter effect to that where they're building a floor, right, with rental rates. Section 8 will pay $2,800 a month for a 3-bedroom apartment. $2,400 a month for a 2-bedroom. Maybe close to like $2,000 for a 1-bedroom, depending on what neighborhood that you're going to live in. As the city builds big new luxury apartment housing as they come up, and this is whether it's good or bad for everybody is another question, right? But I know in New Rochelle, in Yonkers, in the Bronx, new luxury developments are going up. They're at really, really high price points, right? You're talking $4,000 a month for 3-bedroom apartments, $3,500 a month for 2-bedroom apartments. The people that rent those homes have significantly higher income than the people that live in whatever neighborhood that this big luxury development is built in. That brings up the average income in in whatever specific area. The higher that income number is, right, the higher the city will pay to subsidize housing for low income workers. Okay. So even if low income job growth, low income wage growth is not pacing what, the middle to high income of what an area of a demographic is, the higher that goes, it brings up the overall average income for an area, which brings up the subsidies and funding. So like I said, you have places where, like Section 8 will literally put somebody in your apartment and pay you almost $3,000 a month for, like for a 3-bedroom home, $2,400 a month for a 2-bedroom. And that's guaranteed money that you're getting from the city, from the state. Okay. So, if you're worrying about am I going to get this? Am I going to get this? Like, should I buy this property? Am I going to be able to rent it? Is something going to happen? It was like, well, you're going to get paid for this from the city. Okay. So you're going to get paid from Section 8 if you buy a house, in the Bronx and put into, you're going to get that money. So, it's a solid investment. And that is why, like I said, the city where you have a high concentration of this, you have more government programs, more government subsidies, and more coming to renters. Okay, like that emergency rental protection program. It was a mess. Don't get me wrong. A lot of landlords struggled with paperwork. They had to wait months and months and months, but they got paid. They paid out tens of thousands of dollars per tenant to the landlords. And my honest opinion, and this is strictly an opinion, is that in the future, these subsidies, emergency rent protection subsidies, government subsidies like Section 8, that payout system is going to be quicker. It's going to be easier. It's going to, make it a lot easier to own subsidized housing in the future. One, they have to, and right, because the income, the wage, the wealth gap is increasing at such a high rate. You have a lot of people now that own multiple multifamily homes, and they're getting rents out from everybody. So as long as your tenant's not committing a crime in their unit or causing significant damage, you should feel pretty safe and about owning that asset and them just taking care of it. Okay. So there's a lot of confusion out there there's so much in the news about what's going on with the rates, with government funding, with this and that. But again, don't listen to the national news picture when it comes to your personal real estate decision. Okay, make it simple, be specific, find out exactly what you want to get in return, what's your tolerance for cost, and then what is your purchase power. Okay, so while we do that right now, let's look at the purchase power. Okay, I'm going to bring up an investment cost analysis. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so a multifamily home right now, let's say we're going to buy this home in the Bronx, a 2-family unit, 5 bedrooms. Let's see, multifamily home. We'll go 849. We'll leave it 800. 800,000. Interest rates for investments are typically a little bit higher, maybe about 3.75% in today's market. Okay, start with the down payment. 20% down payment is typical if you're not going to live in the property. Okay, if it's not your primary home, you cannot do a low down payment purchase. All right, if you're not going to live there. If you're going to live in the property, it's going to be a primary residence. Yeah, you could put down as low as like 5%, maybe 3.5%. But if you're not going to live in the property, 20% is going to be a minimum down payment for you. So you got to have the 160 grand to put in to get this home to start with. We'll talk about closing costs in a second. And the boss, maybe I'll make this $6,500 a month in taxes for a nice, 2,400 square foot 2-family home right now in the Bronx. What are the rental rates? Oh, again, so mortgage payments, no private mortgage insurance, because you're putting 20% down. You're going to be paying, about maybe $3,000 a month. So you're putting 160,000 down. You're paying $3,000 a month. You're going to get back. You're doing this to get back $6,000 a month. Okay, so huge cash flow potential there. If you see this property available that's cost $800,000, maybe let's say there's a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, all right, or you have a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, and then like a finished basement on the market, it's going to bring you $6,000 a month, right? You have some vacancy loss, you have expenses, fuel, water, typical landlord expenses may cost you around $600 a month. Okay, you're looking at $68,000, almost $70,000 in rental income revenue, $7,000 a year in just property maintenance expenses. That's going to leave you with a before tax cash flow of $20,000 for a year, net income of almost $20,000 for a year, monthly income of $1,500 a month, $1,600 a month. Let's talk about equity. After 1 year of equity in this home, of owning this property, your equity goes to $203,000. Okay, after 2 years, $249,000, $296,000, $345,000. All right, after 5 years, your equity is pretty much doubled. More than doubled. You put in $160,000. That was the initial equity you had, and your equity growth with property appreciation is going higher and higher and higher. And after 4 years, after year 5, you've brought in an extra $100,000 of personal income to you with that property. Just a wealth chart here. What does this property cost monthly? Okay, with expenses and your mortgage payment. Okay, $3,500 a month. After expenses, your rental income is going to be $5,700 a month. A negative net cost. That means you have $2,000 a month positive. Outright for the whole year, about $20,000 total positive, $26,000 total positive, and an equity gain. How much equity have you gained? $43,000 of personal wealth if you made this purchase that we talked about up here. Okay, so that's what this is. That's what you're buying when you buy an investment property. And then again, after 5 years, Okay, you're not paying, you're financing, you're not paying out of pocket to buy this home, not after the first year, and it's getting less expensive. After 5 years, you can see you have more negative net cost. The property's costing you less because rental rates rise. So, you're going to be getting more income, more cash flow. And after 5 years, you gained $236,000 of personal equity. You didn't pay any money out of pocket after you initially purchased the property. Okay. You may, this money, this total property cost is $26,000. You could put some of that money back in, right? You could put up to $20,000, $25,000 back into the property to further increase the appreciation, okay, to further lower your liability by making necessary repairs, okay, so making the money that you're going to make in the future a safer bet because you're making safety enhancements to the property. You could increase the curb appeal, do some gardening, get the outside of the building power washed, all of that can get done. All of that can increase the equity more as you increase the value of the property. Okay, and then again, I have the equity gain is based on the principal that you paid plus the home value appreciation. All right, so you can see after, every year the price is going to go up a little bit, and these rates I have it set really low. I have it set at about 4%, which is almost um, which is, the national rate, but they've been going up a lot more. There have been, the last couple of years, they've been 12, 14, 20% in some areas. That number, that, extreme value appreciation is unlikely to continue for over the next 10 years. But, on average, you'll see 3.5 to 4% home price appreciation just across the board in real estate. That's like the 100-year number. And so if you're looking at a 10-year, 20-year investment, there may be years where the property stays a little flat, prices, average value goes up, 1%, 2%, but there's years that they're going to be 8, 9, 10%. And you're going to see a big swing in value. Those are the times where you refinance, you cash out, refinance, or you might look for a sale where, you're going to have a huge windfall of cash from that. So if you made this sale in 5 years, right now you're looking at your gross profit. $500,000 would be your gross profit in 5 years if you sold this property and maintained it at this current level. It's a 275% return on cash on your investment, okay, and 55% cash on cash net year average, 55% a year. So this money that you put down initially to buy the house, okay, grew at 55% a year. It's going to leave you with about $500,000. So that is the way we're going to value. Is this a smart purchase? If you find this house on the market right now, $800,000, $6,000 a month in income, would you say this is a solid investment? If I said, if you give me $180,000, I could return you 55% a year and 500 grand at 5 years from now. Yeah, that's a good investment. You should make that investment. So hopefully, you're sitting through this, you're looking through it. The prices for multifamily properties seem like a little bit better. Obviously, people are looking for like the highest possible return. But just because it's not the highest possible, right? Like if you're like, I want to double my money, I want 100, 200% return. If you're getting, 150% instead of 200, you're still getting a great return. They're still doing a lot, really, really good. So a lot of people are missing out on properties because they're waiting for that like needle in the haystack property to make an investment, and they're missing all of the other stuff that's extremely valuable that they could get into, and maybe even an easier situation for them to manage. Okay. Then again, a little bit just quickly about this equity growth thing. You'll see after this chart, sometimes it looks a little bit better in a chart. Property cost after 1 year, okay, or after 5 years, still $3,500 a month. It's going to cost you the same amount of money over the period because your mortgage is going to stay the same rate. Rental income after 1 year, $5,700. After 5 years, it's going to grow. safe bets of 1.5%. You're going to start getting, over $6,000 a month instead of $7,000 a month. And this is after expenses. And remember, that's numbers after the money that you've taken off. Okay. And then net cost, all right, after 1 year, your net cost is a negative $2,000. That's a positive cash flow number. And then after 5 years, your net cost really increases to like a positive like $2,500 number for you. Okay, so this is a really, really good tool. Hopefully you see that breaks down well for you. All right, I'm gonna pull down the stream share. Okay, so I'm just gonna recap really quickly. Buyer or seller, or if you're an owner of multifamily property and you're looking for another investment, you're looking at flipping, your first step is going to be to identify your goals, to figure out what your tolerance is, what you want out of the property. Do you want monthly cash flow? Do you want, is this a long-term hold and you're looking for appreciation? Okay. Immediate cash flow, you're looking at a better placed property on the market. You're looking at something that's already renovated, that's vacant, that's in an area where rents are high. You're going to be paying on the higher end of the price point for that, right? You're going to be paying $800,000 to $900,000 for that property. If you're looking for future cash flow, okay, you want to buy something, you're going to, nurture it, grow it, and hopefully it grows into much more. You could buy something between 600,000 and 700,000 very easily in an area that's trending in the right direction. Maybe looking like 10456 or downtown New Rochelle, someplace in the South Bronx. Okay, where the neighborhoods don't have all of the amenities in place currently, but they're coming. There's a lot of investment in certain downtown Yonkers, downtown New Rochelle, and the South Bronx. There is so much commercial investment. So much investment from city and the state to build up those economies. Tons of new private investment as well. Okay, new co-working spaces, new restaurants, new transit options. All of that's happening in all those areas. So downtown New Rochelle, downtown Yonkers, the South Bronx, and the North Bronx too. The North Bronx towards like Wakefield, Baychester, like that area as well, because it's so close to downtown Yonkers and downtown New Rochelle that it's going to be able to feed off of those amenities. And the people that live in that area tend to have cars and go back and forth from Westchester. The medical campuses are out there. You have a ton of Montefiore is so huge in South Westchester and the North Bronx. You have a lot of people that make a lot of money that live and they rent in those areas right now. So those are some solid investments there. Okay. You could buy something in one of those areas where the rent rates are not as high as, more, what would be more ideal neighborhoods for someone looking to rent, but the price is going to grow as all that investment comes in, as, incomes increase, as more jobs come back into the area. The value of that property is going to go up faster than the value of a property already at the top of the price point. The one at the top of the price point is going to go up, but the value of the one of the distressed property is going to go up just a little bit faster. It's going to be more work though, right? That's the exchange there. I can buy a ready to go property at a high price point that I don't have to do a lot for. I could buy a distressed property. I'm going to have a lot of work to do inside. Maybe legally, if you need to remove tenants, if you need to flip leases, if you need to increase the rent a lot higher, that's just going to take more work. But put in more work, you're going to get more return, or you could buy something a little bit more solid. All right. So after you identify exactly what you want, again, your second step is going to be to obtain financing, get pre-approved, go to your lender. Okay. Now, again, if you are buying a house that you're going to live in, you could do an FHA loan. You may be able to do a lower down payment. There's even options for low down payment conventional loans if you make less than 80% of the area median income. A lot of people don't know about that. There's little programs where you would qualify. I was going through someone right now, going through a purchase with someone right now, and he wanted to put 7% down on the home instead of 20. because he wanted to use that money to renovate. Even though he had the 20%, he wanted to use the cash that he had to pay to renovate the property instead of financing his renovations. And lender partner that I worked with was very smartly informed me to a program where if the owner income is 80% of the area median income, they could qualify for a low down payment conventional mortgage. Okay, so it's going to save them some money because the FHA's loans are going to be a little bit more expensive. I'm talking about mortgages tomorrow. Please tune into that real estate coaching session. Okay, it deserves its own class because mortgages are its own, a whole thing on its own, and it needs just separate attention. So, but we're able to get him because the area that the multifamily home was in, the area median income was so high that it was $95,000 a year was less than the median income of the area. Okay, even though my client had a good job, he was able to buy a multifamily property with a low down payment with the conventional mortgage. We saved them a ton of money, and they're going to be able to get their home. Again, it's specific to the house, specific to the person buying the house, it's specific to the type of property that was purchased. All of those things are specific. So after you identify your needs, go talk to a financial professional, figure out what your tolerance is, what you could get. If you're an experienced investor, you can call up your hard money guy. You have other properties on the market. This is an easy step for you, but it's still the next step, right? And then again, the third step is going to be to analyze and scrutinize the purchase offer to figure out what is the best situation for you. All right, so we'll go back to the purchase pro forma here. Again, skip that. Again, what's the best package here for you? Okay, maybe I only have $160,000 available for this home. I could do a 15% down payment. I still have enough money to close. Okay, my mortgage payment's going to go up a little bit. My monthly cash flow is going to be $927. So am I okay with that? Am I okay with buying this house at this price and getting, $927 a month as my expected value? Well, you know what? I need $15,000 a month. I need $1,500 a month. I need that money for whatever reason. You're like, that's your target goal. I want to buy a property and I want to get this amount of money per month. Okay, well, what can we do? Can we get this property for $750,000? Yeah, you may. The $50,000 price difference is only a $400 a month, $350 a month difference in payment to you. Okay, maybe that property is not it. Maybe we look at another property. All right, so there's another property on the market, $650,000. Huh. I had $160,000 available. If I put a little bit, maybe I could put 20% down here. I'm still in my price point. Maybe the taxes on this property are even less because it's in a different area. And my monthly cash flow here for this property is $2,200 a month if you're getting the same rental rates. But what if this one only has, maybe it's a 2-unit, doesn't get it. That one's $700 a month. So that one's not going to work for me. I don't want to buy that property and only make $700 a month. What else could we do to fix this? All right. But maybe this mortgage payment is very low for you. You have a much higher tolerance level. Maybe you could spend up to $3,500 a month for this. All right. What if I do a 20-year mortgage? Drop my payment. All right. My payment increases, but I only put 15% down. That's going to change it to $550 a month. Okay. Maybe that's not the way to go. Maybe there's another. Maybe go for a bigger house, a 3-family, for $950,000. All right. $6,500 a month in taxes. But this property has 3 3-bedroom house apartments. So you get 2,800, $2,800 a month. There's three bedroom apartments in this home. Now it's costing me more, but I'm getting more monthly, and it still fits really within my price range. It's costing me more monthly. I'm getting more monthly. It's fitting in my price range. What about equity? Okay, well, I'll have $200,000 of equity, $400,000 of equity, $500,000 of equity. I was really buying this. Like I said, I had a 5 to 7 year plan where I wanted to get my money back by the cash out refinance or sell of the property. It's like, well, you have in 5 years, those numbers are looking pretty good. It's after 7 years, $650,000 of equity, right? The property may be worth about $1.2 million. Your remaining mortgage is $590,000. That leaves you with $650,000 of equity after 5 years, and a sale profit, a gross profit on the sale of over $600,000. Maybe that property, if it doesn't need a lot of work and it still fits within your budget, maybe I didn't need $1,500 a month. Maybe I'm happy getting the $1,200 a month with the expected really good return on a loan like this. Oh, they'll switch it back. I'll do the 30-year loan. Okay, I'll do the 30-year loan. Lower my monthly payment. Now I'm getting over $2,000 a month. So you see how what analyzing a purchase offer is. You have to look at all the details, everything that you want, all of your tolerances, and really go through all the options and see, because they could change. All right, it's not just the interest rate. All those numbers change based on different outlooks, taxes, rental rates, purchase prices, and the interest rate was constant. So no matter where it is, no matter where that interest rate is, it's not, like I said, it's besides the point when you look at everything, when you think about your goals, when you want to figure out whether or not you should invest in multifamily property. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to talk about is the buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat method to real estate investing. A lot of people, this is a hot topic, it jumps on a lot of blogs, memes, mentorship websites, this and that. It looks really fun, really easy. But I want to, just talk to you very quickly about this. This is a long-term strategy to real estate investment. This is not a short-term money-making goal. You cannot go into this strategy thinking that you're going to get a bunch of money in, every so often, every 6 months. That's not what this is about. This is about building, your retirement nest egg. This is, in 10 years, you could turn $50,000 into $5 million, but it's going to take 10 years. Okay. And you're going to have a lot of work in the meantime. Okay. So buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. You buy a property that's maybe distressed, that needs a ton of work. You rehab the property. You rent out the property. Okay. Now that process can take several months. And that's several months where you're working to rehab a property and then to get it rented. Whether, you may not be physically working, but the mental, it's going to be in your forefront. Did the contractor get the floors in? Did the paint come in? Is the tenant going to get the lease? Even if you're sitting in your 9 to 5 job and you're doing this on the side, this is something that's going to be on you very, very, a lot. It's valuable. You could do it. A lot of people do it. A lot of people make a ton of money at it. Just you have to understand that this is something that's going to be on your brain. It's not as simple as I'm just showing up to close. All properties rehab, boom, right? It's not HGTV. You don't have $1 million budget to renovate a $200,000 house, which is what they show you. Okay, it doesn't look like that. And you're renting a property and getting tenants if you don't have management experience, if you don't have proper project management experience to oversee a property renovation, it could be difficult. So, so if you're willing to learn, if you're willing to take the time, if you have some ability to make some mistakes and, you limit your liabilities carefully, you could do it. But getting into it, just understand that this is, hard work. It's mental stress, and it's something that you need to do it, and need to do it again. Then you need to do it again to get the major goals out of it. Which again is exponentially building your portfolio. Because if it took you 4 years to save $200,000, okay, to buy an investment property, you don't want to take another 4 years to do it. That's when you buy a distressed property, one that's maybe vacant, one that's, needs just like a ton of work. Let's say the property's $600,000, is just old, right? I mean, like someone's great grandmother lived there, hadn't touched it since the 70s. You buy that property for, $600,000. You put $100,000 into of renovations into that property. That property is now worth $700,000. So you spent 600. The property is now worth 700. You cash out, refinance another $100,000 out of the difference in the equity, in the equity growth, right? Because you took it from a $600,000, $500,000 home to one that's now worth $700,000 by putting $100,000 of work into it. Once it gets up there, like, you rent it for a high amount, so you're getting positive cash flow. So you're not right. So you recoup some of the money that you spent from renting it, and you refinance it. You take the equity gain out, and you use that to do it again. All right. So it's and then you do it again. This is the repeat. It's buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and then repeat. Okay. Because if you just take out that equity of the home and you go, oh, I won, you just spent all of your immediate gains, and you're not gonna and you're gonna have to actually just save and save and save and save again to buy another property. So you're supposed to take the equity out of that home and put it immediately into another home and do that process again. But if you are able to do that again, you will now have two properties. All right. When you just had, right, within a year, when you had one, you had the ability to buy one property a year ago, and now you have two. So you double your real estate portfolio. And as the rents come in to pay off the mortgage on those properties, your equity grows. Your equity is growing faster. Your wealth is growing faster. Okay. That 5-year plan, if you do that again and you do that again, if you do that 3 years in a row, if you buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat 3 properties over 3 years, 5 years from now, you're going to have a couple millions of dollars of assets. So every one of those sale return scenarios that we looked at before, where we're getting $400,000 or $500,000, if you sell your whole portfolio 5 years, 10 years, 15 years in the future, you're gonna go with $100,000+ initial investment and cash out millions of dollars 10 to 15 years from now. Okay, that's what the process is. But I just want to be clear that it is not a simple, easy process. You need the finance experience to get the loan through, because this is not your primary residence. So you need the ability to carry the debt. You need to prove that you can rehab the property. You need to rent the property. Project management experience, property management experience, real estate finance experience. So you need a professional. You need a real estate agent, a contractor, a lender, and a lawyer. All before you want to make sure your team is in place before you go into that, just to lower your risk. You don't want to have go into this and then be blindsided, because if something comes up 3 months in, to after you close, then it's going to back up, the rehab process, and you only had 6 months worth of money, right? Because say like the windows didn't come in, the city issued some violation that has to get taken care of. You got to wait a month for a permit to get something done. The next thing you know, you haven't made money on this property, and you're still paying off the mortgage for 6 months, and you don't have a renter yet, and the property hasn't been renovated to refinance yet, and you get stuck. And this is where you're dipping back into your personal funds to put back into the property. And if you don't have it, or if you don't want to, or if you're not in the right mental state, that property is not going, that job is not going to get done. You're not going to be able to refinance. You're not going to be able to repeat, and you're going to have this, headache on your hand that you now have to deal with. And it's not going to be the experience that you want. There are a lot of people that happen to. Okay, I want to stress this with real estate investment. There are a lot of people that go into it not realizing the work, okay, or the attention, or the mental fortitude, the ability to deal with tenants, but to deal with contractors, to go into it, feeling financially good about themselves and being able to carry this, and then they get the property, and then they weren't able, like, it's a certain skill. It's a certain way you talk to people. It's a certain, it's a certain legal process. And if you're not familiar with it, you really need to get somebody on your team that is. Okay. I myself have managed rental properties for small landlords that I've like bought and sold with. You can give me a call. What should I say? What should I do about this? Like, you need somebody around that's able to help you down the line if you don't already have those skills, or have been in property management, or have been in real estate. If you've been in real estate finance, that's great. There's bankers, that work for mortgage banks and Chase. Oh, I know everything about real estate because I've worked in an office that has bought and sold real estate. Well, that's great. But if you've never worked in the office that had to speak to the tenants, or that had to show up and talk to the contractors, or had to, negotiate or dispute a bill, then you don't have you don't have those skills. So there's a lot of, you got to look at the whole picture, look at your whole picture, be honest with yourself. And that's when you are going to have the best possible experience, when you do the right thing for you. Again, always the right thing for everyone is equity growth. No matter what, that is the best thing that you could possibly do. If you do nothing, you're not trying to do it. Bottom line, if you take this and go, I think that's risky, I'm not going to do anything, uh, in the grand scheme of things, like, you may be losing, right? Because somebody else is working very hard at their financial goals right now. And you should be too. So if you have any questions, please talk to me, reach out. You can contact me through the link in the description of this video. Find all my sites. You can slide up in the DMs on Instagram. And if you want to continue getting information like this, please hit the like button and subscribe. I'm Rob Rivera with Best Match Real Estate. I'm a licensed real estate agent. I'm a mortgage loan officer, and I am your real estate source in the Bronx and Westchester County. Thank you very much for checking in. I hope to see you all again very soon.